Welcome to Telling the Tale. It's the podcast where we talk about every single Telltale video game. I'm your host, Mitchell Farley Wolf, and I'm joined, as always, by Dustin Cornman Jackson.
I want to talk about Batman.
Wait, but I thought we were going to talk about not Batman today.
I hate to break it to you, but that's not what we're doing.
Okay, but if we're talking about Batman, this is my only condition.
Okay, lay it on me. Spit that nasty stuff.
If we're talking about Batman on the podcast today, it needs to specifically be Batman the Enemy Within Episode 3, Fractured Mask, released on November 21st, 2017, directed by Sean Manning, designed by Emily Grace Buck, Rachel Knoll, written by Ross Bealey, Shannon Ingalls, Lauren R. Mee, and Josh R. Trujillo.
You're busting my balls here, Mitchell, but you know what? I think we can make this deal work.
Did you play it?
Yeah, I played it.
That's really lucky. I also played it.
Yeah, we lucked out this time. It doesn't always... Well, so far, we've been pretty good in that department.
Yeah, we've played the same thing just randomly, I want to say like 3% of the time, and those are the only times I put the episodes out. But,
yeah, what are the odds they've all been Telltale games?
I feel like we could waste a lot fewer episodes by planning which games we're about to play.
Yeah, maybe after this podcast is over and dead, we can start planning it out a little better.
Yeah, and I can start playing things that I want to.
Ooh.
I would have played this, but you know.
No, I know exactly. You know what? It just hit me today. Like, I'm enjoying this season of Batman. I'm liking it a pretty good amount. But today, the thought just hit me where I was like, man, not too long until I won't have to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I love doing it, but boy, it eats up your day.
So, in addition to that awesome thought, we've also... here's a bit of a podcast update. We've decided in the future, because Dustin has access to a VR machine and I right now have temporary access to a VR machine, we are both going to play Sam & Max. This time it's virtual.
Ooh, breaking news.
Yeah, so we have been talking about that because... while it doesn't seem to borrow any explicit like storylines or continuity from the Telltale Sam & Max games, it borrows the tone so much that it could be a sequel to the Sam & Max games, and it borrows the art style almost entirely. So, it has become to the point where, like, well, if we're going to talk about the Sea of Thieves Monkey Island expansion, we should definitely talk about the actual new Sam & Max video game.
Oh, totally. Especially since, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first time outside of those Telltale games that they've carried over like these versions with these voices of the characters.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been a Sam & Max game besides this since the end of the Telltale series. So it's the only modern Sam & Max material, actually.
Yeah, it's interesting how, like, up until the Telltale games, like, it seemed like every iteration of Sam & Max had different voices, you know, they're different versions of the characters in a way. But here, it's just the Telltale voices, which gives it that connection. It makes me think, oh yeah, this could just be something in that same world.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to play it. The only reason we had ever hesitated about it is because it's a VR game, and we, as individual gamermen, had not really planted the staff, as it were. Did you know that you can just make up expressions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've known that.
Yeah, you can say it as, like, you know, planted the staff, as the kids are saying, and people will be like, I just haven't heard that one.
That must be one of those new ones.
Must be one of the ones that people do say. Yeah, neither of us have, corralled the chickens in terms of VR.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. Until now. And, while we're still doing the podcast, let's give it a shot. Let's add it to the list.
Good thinking. I think that's a train of thought I can get down with.
So, just to outline the schedule, we're going to finish Batman the Enemy Within. We have this episode and then 2 more of that. Then, I think right after that, we're going to do This Time It's Virtual. So,
you know what? I give that my stamp of approval.
Okay. After that, we're going to do the 3 episodes of Hector Badge of Carnage.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a weird one to save for the end, but I think it just came down to we weren't sure whether or not we were going to do it.
Well, it's not the end, because after that...
Right, I just mean the end in general.
Near the end, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but, we went pretty not chronological through most of this podcast. It's only close to the end that we fell into doing that. Yeah. Because we did everything else. And then after that is finally The Walking Dead, the final season, which will close out the main run of this show, barring any potential updates that we might get about The Wolf Among Us 2, which is supposed to come out this year. But, we've heard a little bit of stuff just in the rumor mill about what Telltale's progress on that game might be, and whether or not they might have laid off too much of the team.
Right.
To finish
it's not looking great.
Yeah, we don't have inside knowledge into that. We or at least I don't. Dustin might be holding out on me.
Guess we'll never know.
Yeah, so I truly don't know what that will be going forward.
Yeah.
But that's I'm still trying to count on it coming out this year.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, because at this point, like a delay out of 2024 into 2025, I don't feel like that's the thing anymore. At this point, it's just like, is it happening?
Yeah, it really could go either way, unfortunately.
Yeah, because it was like already talked about. I think it was talked about coming out as early as 2022, and then was delayed. Was it delayed into 2023, or did it just like get a release window for the first time in 2023?
Maybe that one. My memory's a little fuzzy.
Okay.
I just remember they put out like a statement like at the very end of the year saying, "Hey, it's not out yet."
Okay, yeah, and then they put out The Expanse last year, which was good to have something come out from them.
Yeah.
And we played that. We've given our thoughts on that. You can listen to our episodes on that. It'll they're still up there. And based on what I saw, I don't know if too many people played or bought it. I don't know if the money came in on that one.
Right.
But it existed to the point where I had thought at least their other announced project would also exist. So, hoping for that. Yeah, if we seem like downers for no reason, like you don't know why we're coming at this with pessimism, go ahead and look up just Telltale layoffs and filter
the second time
the last 2 years, and then yeah, that'll be that. As a video game maker myself, I don't really take to those lightly. I don't enjoy hearing about those. You can't really distract me with a funny trailer in order to make me forget that that's happening. Not that they've put out a funny trailer. That would be a good try if they want to try something.
Yeah, that would at least be something.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from the game since The Expanse started coming out, so yeah.
It's we're talking about all this pessimistic news about The Wolf Among Us 2, but I want you to know that my desktop wallpaper right now has SpongeBob SquarePants on it, giving me the biggest smile in the world.
I
so
love
it's hard
that
for
you
me
live
to feel
that
too
life.
upset.
Yeah,
thanks, man.
I love that you live that life.
I worked hard to get where I am today.
My desktop wallpaper is a corgi in a lobster costume.
Ooh, that's it. Oh, I know just the one.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, the famous one everyone loves.
Yeah, it's been my desktop wallpaper, I think, for 5 years.
Ooh, that's a long time for a desktop wallpaper.
The first time I saw it, I cried because I was laughing too hard. And I think that if you show either an older generation or a younger generation that image, they'd be like, yeah, people just do that online. And I'd be like, yeah, I guess I feel that way too. But yeah, I like it a lot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Batman the Enemy Within, episode 3, Fractured Mask. Why is it called that?
I don't know. Is it because both Batman and Catwoman wear masks?
Yeah, what's the fractured bit?
Maybe you can fracture their relationship at some point. It seems like there's a couple points where it's possible to make things not great between them. But in that case, it should be fractured masks, plural, not mask, singular.
Well, their relationship doesn't wear a mask, That's not where the mask comes in. Bane wears a mask too. I just think that if your episode is called Fractured Mask and there are a lot of masks in it and not one of them breaks in that whole time, what are you doing, guys?
Yeah, I mean,
you can choose to call this whatever you want.
Yeah, this isn't the first time they've named an episode something that just really doesn't seem to have much relevance.
No, yeah, and like with this one, it purports itself like a metaphor, like symbolism, right? The fractured mask of like, well, I think the symbolism part of Fractured Mask is in there because in this episode, more people can find out who Batman is.
Right.
At least one that I saw, maybe more. But yeah. So like in that way, the ability to conceal your true identity is falling away. But like,
yeah,
you would do that if it's a subtle hint at that, but like there was also a mask that fractured in all like reality. You wouldn't. I don't feel like you would just call it Fractured Mask without that happening in the episode.
I don't know. I mean, I think the symbolism.
Nope, I think it's bad.
It works.
Nope.
You're not a big fan of it.
Nope. Can't do it.
What
Dustin.
if they call what if they call it something like Bruce and John go get a coffee?
I would like that.
Because that does happen in the episode.
Or coffee makes me go to the John.
Ooh, that one works since John Doe. I get it.
It makes me create some dough. Yeah, it's it's a better way to do it.
Maybe they should have put us in charge of Telltale.
Yeah, I think that's.
I think that's.
What if after 100 and a billion episodes, that's our big takeaway at the end of this journey? Like, oh, we would have done it better.
Yeah, they should have put us in charge. We would have come up with a name better than Fractured Mask.
Yeah, this podcast started because I watched a documentary where Emily Grace Buck, who is a designer on this episode, was talking about like, yeah, we kept just putting out stuff, and the only language that was coming out at the time about that stuff was about like how this company was so poorly managed, or how there was Telltale fatigue, or how it's just another one of these, but no one was actually talking about the material. And I thought, well, I've got time. Let's talk about the material for 3 years. I've since had less time, so that was a bad bet, but glad to be doing it. What if, like, at the end of all of that, trying to, really hold up the work that all of these individuals that worked for this company over a period of more than a decade put into the video game history story, Our big takeaway is just, we would have done it better.
See, that's where they went wrong. They should have had us there.
Yeah. When Telltale was founded, I was 10 years old. They really should have jumped on it.
Yeah, sorry. Better luck next time.
I remember someone from Telltale posted on the Telltale forums a new job description. And I think 14 or 15 at the time, I asked in that forum thread, is there an age requirement on the
if
job
you have
description?
to ask, yes, there is.
That's kind of the answer I got back. I remember they posted, yeah, there's not an age requirement, but I went ahead and I looked at your profile and like,
I would
nah,
just
man.
probably
probably
not.
not. Yeah. And I as a 14 or 15-year-old thought to myself, I have to respect that.
Yeah, I guess that was your bad putting that info in your profile.
Well, I don't think it was public, but like maybe you needed to say what your date of birth was in order to make a
Right.
profile, so like they could look at the back end of it.
Right, and they were like, "Nah, sorry."
Yeah, well, I could have lost a job way earlier if I
Imagine getting hired on to Telltale and you're on for like an episode. Do you remember what games they were putting out at the time?
Oh, that would have been between like Sam and Max Season 2, Strong Bad, Monkey Island, Sam and Max Season 3, that kind of era.
Right. Imagine Mitchell Wolf in the credits of like Strong Baddie of the Free.
Well, my forum name is in the credits of something like a special feature on the DVD of SBCG4AP.
Nice.
Yeah, my forum name that has no connection to my actual name. And I don't want anyone to know it because I think I was a shitter. I'm a better person now. I'm nearly 30.
Right, we were all in a bad place back at that age.
I'll be 30 within the year now, but at that
Whoa.
time I was less than half my age and not doing any good work with it,
Right, I get you.
Yeah.
We all were. We were all there.
Yeah, I think I think I had like, again, I'm not going to say exactly what it was that I think I had, but I think my forum name was one of the most try-hardy, like, Paw of the Dragon 420 XXX. Something like that.
Right. I mean, I feel like I was there too. I would have had a name similar to that.
Tip of the sword, blood of the dragon, just something something along that line.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I even liked dragons, but I was just like, people are doing this online. I need to fit in.
I need people to know that I am cool.
I could be the person that if you saw me in real life, you'd assume I like dragons.
Whoa, this guy must really like dragons. Holy crap.
This guy hasn't shaved his beard in a while. He must like dragons.
That's the beard of a dragon man, if ever I've seen one.
I saw him having that, like, desktop hunch, just walking around in the real world. That's gotta be a dragon tamer.
Oh, definitely.
That's Hiccup's dad.
So, Batman. Fractured Mask.
What'd you think?
I liked it. It's one of those kinds of episodes where, I mean, we've had these kinds of episodes many times before. What else can we say? It's the third episode of the season. It's there to propel things into the end of the season. Not a whole lot happens, but some cool stuff happens. It's not bad. I don't want to say it's like the best episode ever, but it doesn't do anything bad. It's just, there's not a whole lot to say about it.
Yeah, so at the end of the last
cool
episode,
stuff.
You left Bane behind to be arrested, and I left Harley behind to be arrested. And in this episode, for me, I don't know what happened for you, but for me, Harley came back immediately. First scene of the whole episode, Harley is like, she's singing in the hallway of the subway station. And then she shows up and she's all bloody with her hammer and she's like, yeah, I just fought out of it. You guys are dicks for leaving me behind.
Yeah, was she pissed off?
She was pissed, but like not at me or John, because I think John and I, like, we told her and she believed us that we wanted to go back for her, whereas Bane made no such promises, so she was pretty pissed off at Bane. But like, even then, she kind of dropped it. And then she was just back. There was no issue with Harley being left behind.
Yeah, that's more or less what happened with Bane too, except I guess maybe just because he's not as important as Harley is, you feel his anger a little more. Maybe it's just because he's generally an angry person, so just the general way he was felt more like, oh, he's pissed at me in particular for leaving him behind. But no, I think he's just a pissed off guy. But he does come back and he's like, oh, you're all gonna regret this. You shouldn't have left me behind. Then Harley's like, shut up.
And then he does, right? Like, he mostly does.
Yeah, like Harley takes his guys. She's like,
Yeah,
Bane,
that's the
you
same with
fucked
Harley.
up. I'm taking your guys. They're under my control now. You're dumb and stupid. Shut up.
Yeah. This is silly. Like, we've talked about the sort of fake choices in Telltale games before. It, I think, can be the backbone of fairly lazy criticism of this format of gameplay. You don't need to care about this. You know, like linear games versus open games. Linear games are fine. They've existed for many, many years. Many of them are people's favorite games of all time. And just because the game is more linear doesn't mean, or more narrative, I mean, doesn't mean that it being more linear as well makes it worse. But I will say that, like, man, this is maybe the most this is like among the heaviest fake choice. Like, she just comes back so fast. It was the last scene of the last episode. Oh no, she's gone. And the first scene of this episode.
Yeah.
So, like, come on, guys. Maybe wait half the episode before bringing Bane or Harley back. Maybe 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. 40 minutes if you're bold. 50 minutes if you're courageous. Do you see what I'm trending toward?
Oh,
Like,
I see.
Just wait longer, and then that'll feel more significant.
Right, it'll feel like it's something at least.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
Bane
back
is just
immediately.
like, yeah, Bane comes back immediately too, and he's just like, yeah, I'm back and everything's fine. I hurt anyone who tried to attack me, and now I'm back and you guys suck.
Yeah, so the crux of this episode is about the return of Catwoman and how that sort of factors into what you're doing here. She worked for Riddler, like, more directly, but now that he's gone, she's still kind of in with this group that she cares less about personally. That's what you glean from this. And in your interactions with her, you can decide how much of a good boyfriend you want to be.
Were you a good boyfriend?
I was a very good boyfriend.
Oh, I was as well.
Okay. Whenever I've gotten this, like, weird nervous tick whenever I'm playing a Telltale game where there's potential romance of, like, oh, I hope Dustin gets this.
Just out of pity. Oh man, I'm hoping for you, buddy.
Well, you have been getting them lately, but like, there was that middle section of the podcast where every time we would convene to talk, you were like, "Yeah, she broke up with me."
Yeah, I kind of blew it.
Yeah, I just kept walking and I didn't say hi, so we never got in a relationship.
Yeah, when was it most apparent? Was it like Game of Thrones, where that I just really was blowing it?
Game of Thrones felt, I don't know if that was the first time, but that was one of the strongest times because like, really I was coming out of an episode. I liked that story, but I cannot remember the characters' names.
Yeah, me neither.
Someone the Broken, right? Like, or the oldest brother, who's hobbled by an injury, right?
Right, the one you play as.
Yeah. Does his name start with R, perhaps? J? Roderick. Yes, that feels right. That feels right.
Yeah, I think so.
Lord Roderick Forrester. Yeah.
There you go.
Feels correct. So he can have he has like an arranged relationship with this woman from the town over, and you can either play it so you, like, care about her and genuinely fall in love, or she hates you and she'll die at the end not having loved you once. And I think that's what you got. And that
she didn't hate me.
She did seem mad based on what you said to me.
I
Because she was
remember
like
her
head over
being
heels for me.
right, but I feel like she was at least nice to like. She didn't hate me. I remember us being on the same side,
Of a
but it's been
war,
a little bit.
yeah, but
It's
like,
been a little bit.
well, I just remember like the range of what I experienced versus what you experienced in terms of that relationship was not just big, but it was like immediately big. So I wasn't working toward that over time. I was like, I did one question right, and you did one question wrong, and from that, it's like,
That's the end of it.
yeah, we've gone from like star-crossed lovers to kind of they might say hi if they pass each other in the hall. That's
Right.
like that's how far the distance was. There was another like couple of them though.
Oh yeah, I don't remember which ones they were, but boy did it happen. I remember the feeling.
Was it were there something in Borderlands?
No, I Borderlands worked out with Reese and Sasha.
New Borderlands though.
New Borderlands. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Sorry. You know, that one, I feel bad about it because that one was made recently. You know, people.
I don't. They should have done a better job.
Okay, you said it though.
Yeah, I'll say it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of reasons a game might not turn out as good as it could, but yeah, that one was borderline kind of offensive. That one was tough.
Whoa.
Just
Borderlands.
Borderlands kind of offensive.
Yeah, and I'll come out and say it. I don't want to like shit talk anyone on these teams. I'm sure they did a lot of hard work.
Yeah, we would have no idea of where to put the blame.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't want to be like you all should have done better with this game. I'm sure they did their best, but just not good. I'm not gonna come out and be like, yeah, it's okay. I think that's Stink Pile City.
Yeah, I mean we've
it hasn't been a secret.
We put
the
episodes out on it. we were very honest at the time.
Yeah, I can't talk more about it. I gotta focus on Batman.
I can't know how to talk more about New Tales from the Borderlands. Yeah, I mean, like, I thought I was gonna love it. And maybe that's the bigger disappointment, because I don't think it's the worst game we've covered on the show.
What, New Tales from the Borderlands?
I don't think it is. I think CSI 3 Dimensions of Murder is the worst game we've covered on the show.
I think it's the worst, but also I had no expectations. I knew those were going to suck. I went into CSI thinking,
yeah,
this is not going to be a good time. Yeah, and New Tales from the Borderlands started out pretty good and promising, and then just gets worse and worse as it goes. And
there was also the fact that the version of 3 Dimensions of Murder we played was... I'm sure anyone who worked on that team would throw their hands up and say, no, don't play that one. Why would you play that one for the PS2? Yeah. Play the real game we made.
That's
so sorry,
true.
You know.
Yeah, sorry. we'll do better next podcast.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll start over from the beginning.
Let's do it right this time.
Yeah. And it's we're just gonna change like 2 sentences per episode at most.
Yeah. I think what it comes down to is CSI is the worst one, but New Tales from the Borderlands is my least favorite, even if it's not as bad.
Yeah, because it's in my mind more. I like the story of New Tales from the Borderlands, for better or worse, has stuck with me.
Yeah.
That is not always a compliment.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it has. I remember the characters and the situations quite well, actually. Whereas all 20 CSI cases we had, I don't know if I could remember all of them, but
I could remember like a couple.
I could probably remember in relatively all right detail, maybe 6 cases. I don't know.
Remember the eco-terrorist one?
I wouldn't have if you didn't say it. But yes.
Cool.
Where there was that was the one where there was a guy 5 stories up. That was either pushed or fell, and then it had to do with eco-terrorism somehow. 2009 was a weird time for America.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the Boogiefoot, the band one. I remember the
Oh, who could
animation,
forget?
frame by
Boogie
frame,
Feet, Marty Party.
watching the band get electrocuted.
Yeah, that's the CSI highlight.
I remember the absolutely insane, like oil baron type character who had this thing of like impregnating his employees,
Right.
for like weirdly racially tinged like heritage reasons, but it turned, like, because of how they wrote it, it wasn't racially tinged. It was just, it had all the, because they made him black, I think, to avoid that controversy, but it had all of the uh like hallmarks of racial bigotry and like trying to keep purity, but then
Right.
that wasn't what it was, so it was just a weird one. What are we up to? 4 that we've remembered?
Yeah, that
Quick. uh
I think that might be all of them.
there was a lesbian
Oh,
couple that
the
lived inside of a
lesbians, yeah.
geodesic dome.
Yeah, Geodesic Dome, who could forget? If they made a Telltale Smash Brothers, the Geodesic Dome would be one of the stages.
Yeah, I don't even. Yeah, it's all of those iconic locations, like the stick from Strong Bad,
Right.
outside the motel for Walking Dead season 1, and the geodesic dome from CSI.
All the iconic locations.
Oh, Smash Brothers at the inventory. Fun concept. Fun concept.
That'd be great. I'd play it. I've thought about it many times.
Well, and I guess in that case, the only stage would be the inventory. Otherwise, it would not be at the inventory.
My idea was the inventory could morph into different Telltale locations, kind of like it does in Poker Night 2, where it can like turn into Sam and Max's office and stuff.
Okay, yeah, maybe Reginald, what's his name?
Reginald Van Winslow.
Right. Reginald Van Winslow, maybe he finds a way to like do magic. and he casts spells on the inventory to make it like the room of requirement. It is what it needs to be.
That'd be fun. I want this really bad now.
Speaking of room of requirement, how narrowly did we avoid a Telltale Harry Potter game? Ooh. Think about that. Like they
Have
were
they
grabbing
ever
up.
Brought it up?
I don't think we've heard about it. I mean, we know that there's a ton of pitches that they did that just never got anywhere.
Right.
We heard about that Gorillas one recently.
Oh, that one's crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, just that ecosystem in the mid to late 2010s where they were picking up all the big IP, Minecraft, DC, Marvel, Walking Dead became bigger. During that time period, Harry Potter was right in there. We know there's a Stranger Things one.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that was on the way. They did Back to the Future. That's kind of in that wheelhouse. Jurassic Park.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Harry Potter could have fallen in there.
I think they came close. I'm thinking they must have been really close there. Probably
dangerously close.
Dangerously close. Back then, it was probably the reason they didn't do it was because it was too big. Now the reason they didn't do it is completely different.
Yeah, now it's just like maybe it would be smarter to not touch that property.
Yeah, we don't have to be this company right now. Like Warner Brothers keeps talking about wanting to use Harry Potter for stuff, and it makes sense financially, but I think it also makes sense financially to never become in that position.
Right.
It's a weird like paradox, because I think if Warner Brothers does stuff with it, it will make money, but if you don't have to do it, that makes more money.
Yeah.
So yeah. I went to Universal Studios to play the Nintendo World area, and this was a while ago. We might have even
we've talked about this, yeah.
But while I was there, I did step inside the Hogwarts area. See what it was.
Did you love it?
It's impressive. It's really impressive.
Yeah, when I went, my sister was really into Harry Potter, so I got to check it out.
Yeah, I went there, and there's one ride where they have a hologram of like Harry, Ron, and Hermione talking to you before you go on the ride,
Uh
and they feel like they're as old as they were. It's the actress from the movie. They feel like they were as old as they were for like Goblet of Fire or Order of the Phoenix,
right.
which, like, looking at them now, I've seen Daniel Radcliffe in a recent movie. He looks like 20 years older than that. And I think maybe they did like do some touch ups to make the actors look younger when they filmed it, but I also think they just filmed it forever ago,
Yeah.
and that's just a like sort of a status symbol of how long ago it was that Harry Potter was so on top of the world that you would make a whole park of it. Because like it broke bad pretty fast, right? Like I
Right.
feel like at the beginning of one year and then the next, we could have had very different opinions on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Were you
Good.
ever a pothead?
Oh, I was a pothead, all right. No, I never really got that into Harry Potter. I liked what I had experienced enough, but I never got like really into it.
Did you see like all the movies, but then not much more than that or something?
Um, I read like the first four books, I believe, and then yeah, I saw.
Oh, okay.
I'm
You gave it
pretty
a real
sure
effort then. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw all the movies.
I mean, I saw all the Harry Potter movies. I have not seen
Yeah.
all the Fantastic Beasts and How to Catch 'Em
Oh yeah,
All.
I couldn't give a shit about that. But yeah, I think I saw up through Deathly Hollows Part 2, but I don't remember the one before Part 1 at all. Maybe I didn't see it.
Half Blood Prince. I kind of liked Half Blood Prince more than the ones around it. Um,
Ooh.
I felt like it had a better sense of humor
Oh,
in
interesting.
the movie, at least. But yeah, I don't
Uh
like Harry Potter anymore because it's mean to my friends.
yeah. Stop.
Stop.
Just stop.
Yeah. Um, yeah. How sad is it that people like devoted their lives to being fans of this thing? And like, if this was Banjo Kazooie for us or like Pokemon, that I I don't know. I don't know, man.
I would be devastated if it was Banjo-Kazooie in this position. I hope it never is, knock on wood.
I just don't think Banjo Kazooie does enough to be bigoted. I don't know if they show up and say things enough for it to be a topic of conversation ever.
You've had a lot of Banjo Kazooie thoughts over the last week. I feel like.
I don't stop having them. I've had a lot of them over the last 2 decades,
Right, I have as
three
well, but
decades almost.
I feel like you're the person I've talked to the most about them in a long time, just in the last like week,
Yeah, it's
which I'm
because of
happy
my
to.
it's because of my journey through Rare Replay to get all those stamps.
Right, it's been fun having you talk about it. It's because I'm never gonna do it again, even though I kind of wanted to. So
Yeah. Oh
it's
no.
fun to be like, oh, Mitchell's doing it. That means I can at least talk about it.
Yeah, with a couple of exceptions, I think all of the games in Rare Replay I would play again. But
Yeah, except for a couple obvious ones.
I won't play Underworld again, other than to like if someone comes over, I'd be like, okay, I got to show you this game real quick.
You're not gonna believe.
You're not
it,
gonna
man.
believe how you jump in this game. Uh, or Perfect Dark Zero. I
Well, you
haven't
gotta
even
play it
really. I need
at
to do
all.
more. I
Yeah.
started it, by the way.
Oh, is that gonna be your next one?
No, I started it to
Okay.
see if it was going to be my next one, and it's not.
Yeah, that was the very last one for me.
It's going to be that way for me too.
Cool.
Yeah, I just through the necessity of like how hard it is to get the achievements.
Yeah, it sucks. It boy does it suck. It's probably the most miserable I've been playing a video game. But
Wow.
through my own fault. Like if you're just playing it to play it, it's bad, but it's, whatever. It's short. You can be done with it in no time. But if you're getting the achievements, they decided to make it very hard to get the achievements you need just to get these stamps, not even to get all of them.
Yeah, you need 3/4 of the gamer score allotted in order to get all
Yeah.
those stamps.
And
Uh,
even that is a nightmare.
Yeah, with that one, I think they should have taken another look at it and like, um, I think across the board with those games, they just said 3/4 is what we'll say. They should have made it more specific per game.
I agree,
Yeah.
especially for something like that. The other ones I think are fine.
Well, the other extreme is like Banjo-Kazooie, where you get all of the achievements just for like finishing it, except maybe
Yeah.
one. So you like that one could have been way higher. That could have been 100%, and it would have been fine.
Yeah. As I would love if Banjo-Kazooie had harder ones. Like, you look at ones like Grab by the Ghoulies, and its achievements are pretty, like, specific things you have to do. And with Banjo-Kazooie, it was kind of in the early days of achievements where they were still kind of feeling them out, like the difficulty of them. So the ones in the Banjo games are pretty easy. Like,
Yeah,
not even a challenge.
as a historical artifact, it's kind of cool that you can go back and see like, oh, these are all very different approaches to the concept of what should an achievement be.
Yeah.
I liked Cameo's approach out of those early 360 games. I thought that those ones were hard to get all of, but good to get most of. And
yeah, like for the
some
most
of them
part,
are silly and fun, and some of them are genuinely hard challenges.
yeah, I agree.
Good spread.
Cameo was a pretty good time. I feel like there was only like a couple where I felt like I had to do like some of the achievements are you have to get A ranks on the levels, and a couple of those were tricky, but those were like the last ones I needed to get the stamps, so it was fulfilling.
Do you think
liked
we're okay doing this because of what the percentage of the people who listen to this show who we know from like liking rare stuff is? Do you think that's why we're okay with that? Because I am okay with what we've done. And
just talking about Rare Replay instead of Batman.
Yeah.
Well,
I am
like
okay
said,
with it. Is it just because we know the audiences too? Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Oh, I'm always happy to talk about Rare. Yeah.
Yeah. There were some interesting things in this episode, but
like we said, it really is just setting up like more things to come later. It kind of flew by.
Yeah, the big part of this episode was Catwoman, which we can talk more about. And I am excited to talk more about. But everything else was kind of an in-betweener. Yeah.
Yeah. What's his face?
I don't know.
Who's the character who shows up? I wrote it down, but I can't find it in my notes.
The character who shows up? Dude,
Harvey Bullock.
Harvey Bullock.
Yeah, the cop that you pay off who catches you.
What about him?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting to see him.
I don't even know who he is.
He's a character in Batman. He shows up here and there. He's in like the animated series and stuff, but he's not super important.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting to see him is all, because he's not that important.
Yeah.
He's just kind of like a cop who's on Gordon's squad. Gives you a hard time sometimes, and that's what he does here. He's like, I caught you going into the Riddler's place.
Yeah, he takes a bribe from you. I tried to bribe him.
Yeah, I bribed him as well.
And then he just tells on you anyway.
Yeah, what a dick.
Yeah.
I paid him a lot of money, and he's like, yeah, fuck you.
Well, I paid him a Bruce Wayne amount of money, which is fuck you money, right? Like that's a nickel for a candy ball. What's a candy ball?
Yeah.
You know, a candy ball.
Oh, is it like a Wonder Ball?
I'm thinking
you
more
know
like
those?
a Jawbreaker, I think.
Okay,
but,
yeah.
I do know Wonder Balls. When's the last time you had a Wonder Ball? Let's talk about that for 20 minutes.
Oh, I haven't had one in years. Do you remember when they had, like, the candies were shaped like Pokemon?
Yeah, I remember. You could go back every 2 weeks and they had a new brand deal.
Oh, awesome.
And you could never just, like, take as much of a bite as you want to, because there's plastic in there.
Yeah, you have to plan it out. You have to look at it and say, what's the best route?
Yeah, you have to eat a Wonder Ball in the same way that a golden retriever holds an egg.
What the fuck does that mean?
Have you
Holds
seen
an egg?
Yeah.
No. Whatever you were about to ask if I've seen, no.
Kiddos at home, you can Google this or YouTube it. Yeah, look up golden retriever egg. And there's like some inborn genetic instinct they have to carry eggs and not like break them if they put them in their mouths.
Huh.
So, golden retriever owners can just give their dogs eggs, and they'll be very polite and hold them there and not try to eat or swallow them until they know they're allowed to do it. That's just that. And they kind of like very slowly, gently gum them. It's very cute.
That I would have had no idea.
It's very cute when a dog holds an egg.
It's not something you ever think you'll see, but when you do, boy, is it good.
Yeah, like Hal Laboratories when a dog holds an egg. You know that?
Hal Labradors.
No, the logo for Hal Laboratories.
Right, no, I get it. I get
okay.
it. I get you.
You just said a different thing, too. Yeah, okay. All right.
Yeah.
The Catwoman's in this, and I like her characterization. She's not to be trusted that much, but she could be trusted a little.
Yeah, I decided to trust her a lot.
Okay.
I decided to, like, let her into the Batcave, ask her to help me out. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, so at one point, Gordon tells Batman, look, I think this Bruce Wayne guy is messed up, and you have to be like, oh, no, he's good.
He's a cool guy.
I actually like the way that he is.
Yeah, we hang out.
And Gordon's like, no, he's bad.
I know it. I know for sure.
I've checked. So he says that he's putting his people after both Bruce Wayne and Catwoman. And if you know what's good for you, you won't get involved. And you have the option to either warn Catwoman about the police coming in or not. And this was a very hard decision for me to make.
Yeah, I agree.
What did you do?
I warned her.
Okay, I didn't.
Ooh.
Yeah. How did that go for you?
It was a very funny text exchange between them. Because just earlier in the episode, you have the whole situation in Riddler's hideout where she steals the USB drive and then just runs off.
Mm-hmm.
And then this part where I warn her about the Gotham City Police Department coming after her. So Batman's message is just saying GCPD is after.
Yeah, by the way, they say
beyond
GCPD so much in this episode where it's like, I don't know if you can just give an audience a brand new acronym for a fictional thing and have it
I got it.
work. Like, because every time they say GCPD, I'm like, oh, what is it? Okay, yeah, okay, please.
Okay, I'm with you.
I remember. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. I'm the dumb. It's my fault.
God, imagine this being real, and they're just like, "Come on."
Yeah, because like already in the real world, there's the two famous ones of the LAPD and the NYPD.
Right.
But if you say LPD for like London or CPD
for Louisiana
for Chicago, those are also pretty big ones. But like, I immediately don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
That L could be anything.
Yeah, you live near Boise. Do people talk about the BPD ever?
No, we don't talk about police. We choose not to.
As a moral stance.
Yeah. I guess when it's like two letters, it helps you know what they're talking. Like New York Police Department, you get, since it's NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess GCPD makes a little more sense. I hear that and I'm like, oh, Gotham City, of course.
Quick, DMPD, what is it?
Des Moines.
Yep. SFPD.
San Francisco.
LVPD.
Las Vegas.
Okay. Not too bad.
I did pretty good.
Yeah. Honestly, kind of impressed. I don't know if I would have done as well.
I didn't even think I would.
I didn't even know I would do it until I started quizzing you.
I've never heard of those places until they came out of my mouth.
I think that there's something deep inside me, much like John finds that there's something inside him this episode.
Yeah, that's worrying.
That is just a quiz master.
You want to be a host?
I'm like the Joker or the Riddler with jokes or riddles, but mine is just like, hey, how are you doing? What's your favorite color?
You've done that before. You've set up a little rare themed Jeopardy for our little group of friends. That was very fun before.
I do like making games.
Yeah, that was fun. You like being a master of ceremonies for games. A host, one might call you.
Yeah, it's a fun thing. Had a yawn there.
What were we talking about?
Catwoman at some point. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I
the
didn't
text
warn
exchange.
her.
So I did warn her, and then she just says, thanks, with an exclamation mark.
That's funny.
Yeah. You'd think she would be a lot more just to the point, or like, thank you for letting me know. She's like, thanks.
I chose not to warn her because I was thinking it through, and I was like, well, Gordon might still just get her even if I warn her. But
right.
Maybe Catwoman still gets away if I don't warn her. Like, she's been avoiding the police without my help for years. She's not a damsel, you know? So that was like my hope. But it was also kind of giving Gordon a little bit more authority because he's had so much authority taken from him recently.
Right, I get that. Also, Selena just like went against you to take what you needed.
Yeah, she just pissed me off. So
yeah, I get not be. So it's like, well, then I'm not going to help you.
Yeah.
So there.
And like, if I don't let the police track down cat burglars, like that's the thing they do. Like I don't think the police are often very good. But that is, if Batman as a character believes in them, he should get this, you know? He should understand this one.
Right. I get that, but also, for me, I still believe that Selena is very important to Batman. Even if, she went against him, I wouldn't want her to get, like, caught by the police.
Well, okay.
If it was anyone else, I would be
to
right there with
our
you.
discussion about false choices. Okay. I thought this was really going to matter because later in the episode, Bruce goes back to Wayne Manor, and Selena is there. Did this happen for you?
Yeah. Well, no. This played out differently for me, actually.
I didn't even give you very many details yet, so that's interesting. That it
played out differently. You said Selena went to Wayne Manor?
Yeah.
Yeah, that did. So she did go for me, but I asked her to go with me.
Oh, okay. No, she showed up, and she got there first, like, when I came through the door. Alfred had been hanging out with her for maybe an hour or so.
That's cool. I'm glad they hang out.
Yeah, they're just friends. They're buds. But it was that because she was so beat up. Just her whole body is cuts and bruises. She looks awful. Her eyes are like bloodshot. And for a moment, I was like, well, you've succeeded at making me feel truly bad about that decision about not warning her about the cops. But then we had a conversation. And she said, did you know the cops were onto me? And I had the option to say, yeah, but I thought you could get away. And Dustin, she totally understands.
Oh, she bought it.
It's not a lie. I did. She totally, completely understands. And we become like a relationship in this episode.
She also became a relationship with me in this episode.
She seems not to mind that I let her get beat up by cops in that same day.
That might have been a good way to do it.
That she should mind it? That she should care even a little bit? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So for me, I warned her, she got away, but she also stole Harley's laptop before John could get to it.
Okay.
Like when you're talking to Harley, when John goes into her office to steal the laptop, he just comes out and looks at you like, that is not there. So, and she sent you pictures. She sent like a picture of herself, like
with the laptop.
holding the laptop and being like, haha, I got it.
That's dangerous, Selena.
Yeah, she shouldn't have, but she did.
Yeah.
So Batman meets up with her, and they have a little TtT. They have a little like fight where Batman gets the laptop from her, but she still has the USB. And so I asked her, you can choose to say, give me that USB, I gotta do this myself. But no, I chose to invite her back to the Batcave and said, we can be partners on this. We're both so good.
Hey, I have a movie quote for you.
Okay.
TtT, inner circle, that sort of thing. What movie? Can you pull it?
It sounds familiar. What is it?
It's Super Mario Brothers, 1993.
Okay. That's going to be on Cartoon Network soon.
So get ready for that.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah. I've seen that movie a lot of times in my life. Like, a lot of times.
I've seen it like twice.
I've seen it twice within the last 4 months.
Wow. I saw it once as a kid and then once before the new movie came out.
Yeah, every time my sister dates a new guy, she shows him the Super Mario Brothers movie.
That's fun. A little initiation.
Yeah. And I recently watched it with my girlfriend as well, which is why I've seen it recently.
It has it just become like the family thing to do?
I think so. Well, just at least between us two.
Right.
We have a third sibling, my sister Peyton, who doesn't give a shit. Does not care about that movie
I get it.
at all. She was born 12 years after that movie came out, so she's just not even invested a little bit.
I wonder if my sister would like it. She likes Mario. I don't think she would care about that movie, though.
Yeah, I think liking Mario might even be a negative step.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking, like, if you were alive at the time and you saw it, I think you could, like, appreciate it for what it is, like, because it's different. You're like, okay, well, this is, like, a different interpretation of Mario, and that's kind of cool. But if you're born after it, and you just like Mario for what it is, and you want a movie that is that, you will watch it and not enjoy it, I think.
You know, I kind of feel the opposite, because, well, for one, I wasn't around at the time.
Oh, true.
I was born a year after that movie came out. But also, no one liked it at the time for the exact sort of reverse of that reason, which is that they were expecting a Mario movie and did not get one.
Right.
And I think now there's been so many Mario things, so many Mario cartoons, there's been this Mario movie, that the idea that there used to be a bad one is not offensive anymore, and the fact that it diverged so significantly is not going to really, no one's going to mind it.
Right.
In that kind of purist sense. So I think they can get over it a bit more.
Yeah. I don't think my sister would like it, though.
That's fair. I think a lot of people would not like it.
Yeah. I like it enough. I don't think it's, like, great. It's not amazing, but I like things about it. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like this relationship with Selena and Bruce also. That's the two things I like. The 1993 Super Mario Brothers movie and the relationship between Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle in the Telltale Batman series.
Yeah, if you're not either of those things, you get the hell out.
I tolerate every loved one in my life.
That's
because
cool.
They're not one of those two things.
You tolerate them.
I tolerate them.
Love that.
But yeah, like we get to bring Selena if we have developed that sort of amount of trust with her. We get to bring her in the Batcave.
Yeah, I thought that was cool.
That's
saying,
awesome,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, I am Bruce Wayne and I am opening up my life to you.
Yeah, and Alfred like directly comments on that, and he's like, why have you decided to let this happen this time? Not saying don't, it's awesome, but this isn't like you. And he's like, you can say whatever reason you want, but I think it's clear that if you say anything other than the fact that it's real feelings for her, Alfred's like, okay, I know what this is.
Yeah,
it's not
I
a
did just say,
decision.
Yeah, I did just say she is important to me, and he said, "Oh well, good for you."
Yeah, and there's a lot of interesting ways that you can take the Selena thing, because she has to give you the goggles she made that should be a very low-tech thing. I could make these with a library printer in 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah.
Just print out a picture of Riddler's eyes. That'll do it. Yeah, she made that, which is like the encryption key to Riddler's laptop.
Yeah.
And you need to open it down in the Batcave, and you like offer to help with it, and you'll both get to the bottom of it. So then she gives it to you, and then it gives you the dialogue option. Once she gives it to you, immediately after you saying we'll both work on it, you can say, I think you should leave now. That's
Get
the
out of
funniest thing in the world. Just saying, yeah, no, we can both work on it together. And then she gives it to you, and you say, you could leave, actually. I'm holding it right now, so I've won.
Yeah, I only needed you for that one part.
I've tricked you.
You feel stupid now, I bet.
I don't see how you don't see that I've tricked you.
That would be mean.
Yeah, it's a kick-ass option to give the player. I love it.
Yeah. This game has a few funny choices. Like, we haven't gotten to it yet, but there's a point where Harley Quinn lets you know she knows who Tiffany is, and you have the option to just be like, Tiffany? Who's Tiffany?
Yeah, I said back to her, no, I think you got it right the first time. It's Stephanie.
It's Stephanie, definitely.
While Selena's down in the Batcave, she like hangs out by your car, and one of my favorite lines in the episode is, Bruce sees Selena looking at the car, and I guess in Bruce's head he's thinking, oh, she might be interested in the car, so he just drops the line, hey, it's over 600 horsepower, you know, and she says. She doesn't say anything, actually. She rolls her eyes and she's like, are you kidding? She gives you that face. Why would I give a shit?
Why would I even care about a car?
But she was hanging out next to it and looking at it, which it's a bit of a trick. It would be like going to the grocery store and like leafing through the different kinds of ramen that they have, and then someone comes up and says, hey, are you interested in ramen? And then you say, no.
Hey, you know, there's over 30 noodles in there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would say that if you said there's over 30 noodles in the ramen pack, I would definitely be mean to you, actually.
Yeah, you would be right to do so.
There's over 30.
Where's the lie?
It's not even a high number. It's it's not impressive to me.
It is true, though. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I bet it's around 30 to 50, but like that's not it's not many. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, that was this episode. We have an opportunity to talk to Tiffany Fox later as well.
Yeah.
After she accidentally tries to get us arrested by Gordon.
Yeah, Gordon got fired for me.
Gordon got fired for me too.
Does. Maybe that's just how it plays out, but yeah.
Yeah, I think he has to get fired. But then, like, how Bruce can react to that can change Gordon's mind about some stuff.
Yeah, and, you know, Gordon fucked around and found out in this episode, and I'm not thrilled about that, but I'm still gonna, like, try to be palsy-walsy with him. So I said, Don't fire him. He's a good man.
Yeah, I said that too. And he was annoyed, like, not from you. Don't you say this.
Yeah, right.
He was understandably frustrated about that. If I got fired for trying to arrest someone and then the guy I was trying to arrest was like, no, he's a good guy. That would be frustrating.
I would be very upset.
Yeah, so you have the option to sit down with Tiffany and like induct her into the inner circle. You can either say you're safer not knowing what's going on, or yeah, I'm Batman. And that was powerful. I liked that. Good moment.
Right. I mean, obviously I was going to tell her I'm Batman. I've been kind of just waiting for the chance.
I've been waiting for the chance with Gordon. With Tiffany, yes. I also with her. But I think the fantasy fulfillment I want is telling Gordon I'm Batman.
Yeah, letting Gordon into your inner circle and being like, and like letting him know the situation at hand. You can be like, look, I am Bruce Wayne. I am Batman. I am undercover and trying to help people here. Please do not arrest me.
Yeah. So I've written here, Tiffany now knows I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to take that opportunity to tell her. It is fun to tell people you're Batman.
Yeah, even though it feels like maybe not the right move after she just tried to have you arrested.
It's fun to tell people you're Batman.
Right, no, I totally agree, and I definitely am glad I did. It's just interesting to make that choice after she just tried to have you arrested.
Yeah. But
maybe not the smartest move, but it is fun.
Tiffany knows. Alfred obviously knows. Amanda Waller knows. Selena Kyle knows. And by the end of this season, maybe John finds out. Maybe Gordon finds out.
I'm really
secret
hoping
is getting out there.
Yeah, but who's not going to know Bruce Wayne's Batman at this point?
Yeah, I think Lady Arkham knew before she died.
Right.
Did Oswald ever know?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, and I don't think Halfhead knew.
Halfhead. That's good.
Yeah. My favorite guy is Halfhead.
John just continues killing it in this episode. I thought John was great.
John did do some good work.
It just, every episode's been striking me just like how cool it is they're doing such a different take where he's like sincerely just like, not like a normal guy, but he's like trying to be like, he's wrapped up with these villains, but you're talking to him and he's like legit your friend and like wants what's best for you. Like Harley's gonna straight up kill you, and he's like, maybe we could just not, maybe we could like let him go and it could just be cool.
Yeah,
and you like help him out with dating Harley. That's a great scene.
This take on Joker is just continually so fun. It's gotten me very excited for the next 2 episodes because I think episode 4 of 5 is where something like this might start to break down. And I really want to see how that goes. Yeah, you're right. There's a bit that we did allude to it where John Doe takes you to a coffee shop where you as Bruce Wayne and him just sort of sit there talking about what you can do with this laptop that Harley has that needs to be seen by Bruce for reasons, and also, hey, he's in love with Harley Quinn. How do you do it? How do you get so suave with women? And you Bruce just has this opportunity in that moment to give him whatever advice the player thinks is good, which I think is very funny. Just imagining everyone in real life thinking of their own very specific dating advice and giving it to John. Who is a certifiably insane person and cannot use most of this advice in the same way as most people. Like, I told John, just be yourself. And as soon as I said that, I was like, yourself is pretty bad.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. I didn't consider it when I said it for the first time. Maybe don't, actually. For you.
Broke into a funeral.
Yeah. And they do like a little role play where Bruce acts as Harley.
That was so good.
It's good. It's good. There was one interaction in there where Bruce as Harley says, "What was your favorite part about being locked up in Arkham?" Which, like, oh my God, Bruce, that's a crazy question.
but
it is answered even more crazily.
Yeah. I think for any other circumstance, that would be the worst question to ask someone. But if it's between John and Harley, which is the scenario you're picking up, that it kind of works. It is what they have in common.
Yeah, John says the thing he liked about Arkham were the lights, because they would be just bright enough to still be mostly pretty dark and give off this very loud hum that contained him like a blanket. And here in the real world, with his freedom, he's seeing the big, bright sky and all the reflections of light everywhere, and it's too chaotic, and he can't handle the chaos, which is an interesting direction for a Joker character. I think handling the chaos is kind of his deal.
He's more about dishing out the chaos than not being able to.
Yeah, and he says that Harley is his light out here, his guidance in the darkness, in the chaos. And the way he explains it is maybe a little charming, but mostly very creepy to me.
I told him it was beautiful.
I told him it was beautiful, but I was lying.
I would not say that IRL to him.
I would say it IRL because I would also lie about it. But I wouldn't mean it IRL.
Right. I mean, I could see both sides of that. I personally thought it was nice the way he expressed himself like that, even if it is weird.
Yeah. John has... he keeps saying that he doesn't know who he is yet, and he doesn't know who he's going to turn into, which is a weird... That feels like more of a meta commentary on the state of the game and the character Joker, more than something that a person, I think, should know. Like, I don't know who I am yet. That's a wild perspective to take.
I don't know. I bought it. I was like, just someone who doesn't like... Well, for him, it's kind of literal. He doesn't remember anything before Arkham Asylum. Like, his past is a mystery to him. But, I don't know, I could see someone just, like, not knowing, like, being unsure of who they are in life at that point, still.
I think you are who you are. I think that if you don't know who you are, you'd be like, well, what am I? And then you would figure it out.
Well, maybe it's harder for someone like John Doe who's been in an asylum for so long.
Fair. Yeah. I'm coming at that from a very traditionalist angle, so maybe I'm obfuscating some an easy read there, because he does say he doesn't know who he is. But he says he doesn't know who he is, and then Bruce is like, yeah, that's true about you.
You're so right, buddy.
You really don't, huh? Yeah, I'm just Bruce, but you're
Bruce
weird.
Wayne. Yeah, you're like, you could be a supervillain, possibly.
Yeah, I have here in my notes, oops, I convinced John to find his true self. Probably not a good thing to do.
Yeah, especially since he just said that there's someone deep inside of him just really trying to get out.
Yeah, and that it's like an angry person. that it's a bad person. And he's like, I should let it out.
So I just told him, try to be the best, nicest person you can.
I said repress it.
That's a good one. Well, if you repress it too much, it's probably going to explode out. I told him, you know what? It's good just to be like a nice guy.
This one you gotta repress. Some guys you gotta... Some people are better repressed.
Do you think John will be good at repressing this?
No. But I think it's better that he tries, because he's not, because the Joker's bad.
True, yeah.
He's mean and murderous.
Yeah, those are two not great things to be.
Yeah. Also, I thought it was quite bad that Bruce Wayne asks for the laptop. Then John says, okay, I'll go get it. And then he gives it to Batman. And then Bruce Wayne acts on that knowledge. John should very easily be able to find out through that Bruce Wayne is Batman.
I didn't have that because John did not get the laptop. But he did meet Batman.
Yeah, for me it was like we had a conversation between Bruce and John at the coffee shop where Bruce was saying, please get the laptop. And John said, okay, you know what, I might. And then later he says, I've thought it over, I'll do it. And he steals the laptop. And then Bruce walks outside of the subway station, turns into Batman, and then does other stuff later. And John delivers the laptop to Batman.
Right.
I can't tell if this is like writers like, is this a writing problem, or is this something that, like, Bruce Wayne was too stupid to figure this out and it's going to bite him in the ass? That, like, clear you can figure out Bruce Wayne is Batman with this, like, really easily.
Yeah.
Just through the laptop thing.
I wonder how it'll play out, because John likes both of them. John, like, Bruce is his best friend, and then when he meets up with him as Batman, he says he's such a huge fan, he really admires what he does. So, I want... That's interesting how that'll play out.
So, John tries to take a selfie with Batman, and I had Batman break his phone.
I didn't, and then regretted it. I thought, ooh, this probably could come back to haunt me later, but he just liked it so much.
I squished his phone in my hand, using just one hand to do it, and then John says...
I'm guessing he didn't like it.
Why? And I said, no pictures. Yeah, he was upset about it, but we're best buds.
Okay, that's good.
And then I tell him, as Batman, drop off the laptop somewhere later. And John says, okay, I'll do that, but, like, I hope you don't want me to be there at a specific time, because that's kind of what I use my phone for.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's a good little joke.
Yeah. You know what? This Joker guy, this guy's a real Joker in the other way.
Yeah, he's humorous. He's the humorman.
The humorous man, Batman's arch enemy.
Yeah, he's the chucklebuck.
That's a good one.
Batman's arch nemesis, the chucklefuck.
If you name yourself the chucklefuck, you are a D-list villain for life.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Sky High?
I seen it a long time ago. I don't really remember it.
It's like a Disney Channel movie, but it's maybe one of the ones that's slightly more elevated outside. Oh no,
it was in theaters.
Scope. Yeah,
it was a theater one.
But it was.
You
High
mean
School
it has
Musical
like
was too? I think
the third one was.
You know what? That might be true. Yeah, but it certainly had that vibe, and I think might have been done by
like
a similar production group.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
There's that scene in Sky High where they present their powers to the gym teacher, and the gym teacher categorizes them all as being either sidekicks or heroes. And I think that if you come up and the gym teacher says, "What's your power?" and you say, "I'm the chucklefuck," yeah, you get sidekicked pretty hard.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Yeah.
That I feel like that really is not to shrug it. That is very funny. I'll have to watch it again sometime. But what I was gonna say was, what I really like.
You don't have
about
to watch
John,
Sky High again sometime. You don't do that.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
But I just like how. I think I even just said this last week. I just like how earnest he is. Like, just how sincere he is in who he is. Because at first it feels like. Yeah, we definitely talked about it already, but it's like, are you, like, fucking with me? Are you, like, the Joker, but pretending not to be?
Yeah.
But by this point, it's just like, no, he is just a sincere
I'm fairly convinced.
Guy at this point. Yeah, I'm so convinced that I would actually be upset if it turned out to not be that.
What I think it is leading toward maybe is that, like, he'll recover some of his early memories and realize he did some Jokerish stuff in the past. Ooh. But, like, that still doesn't make him Joker now. That's
yeah.
And I even hope that doesn't happen. I hope it's only future facing. That would be great.
Yeah. It would be great if you could just be like, this is a world of Batman where there is no Joker. You're just friends with this guy who could have become the Joker, and he's like just a cool, weird guy.
Ooh,
I'm hoping we get that.
What if he finds out who he used to be, which is Dick Grayson?
That would be weird.
What if this is something happened to Dick Grayson that is pretty rough, and this character John Doe could either, depending on what you do in this season, turn into Robin or the Joker.
So the last part you said I could see happening. I don't see him actually being Dick Grayson.
Maybe Jason Todd. A different Robin.
Okay. I feel like it'd be weird because we get the feeling that Bruce has kind of just started out as Batman not that long ago, it would be weird for him to have a sidekick and have like a history, and it would be also weird.
Oh no, I don't think he was Robin. I think he would become Robin for the first time later.
So you're saying he used to be Dick Grayson, but they still have not met.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that I'm more on board with. That would be like a weird idea.
Yeah.
But it would be an interesting interpretation.
Yeah, he finds out...
I guess I wouldn't know how I would feel.
Maybe that circus accident that orphans Dick Grayson
dyed his hair green.
He was doing a trapeze stunt over a big bowl of acid, and he Joker-fied when he fell in.
Right, because you can ask him about his green hair in this episode, and he gets a little touchy about it. You're just like,
I don't think I had that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I think it's in when him and Selena are in the Riddler's hideout, and you can just be like, "Hey, John, I've been kind of meaning to ask, what's with the green hair?" And he'll get snappy about it. He'll be like, "What's with your black hair?" And you're just like, "Whoa."
Good answer.
And
works.
he regrets it. He's like, "I'm sorry, Bruce. I didn't mean that. I don't remember how I got green hair." That's when he talks about how he doesn't remember anything before Arkham.
So I didn't get that conversation this episode.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the whole thing I just didn't get. When did that happen? That was when in the Riddler's home, in the Riddler's
yeah, because
area?
you can just go up to John and talk to him.
I think I talked to him about something, but I didn't talk to him about that.
Yeah,
interesting.
Yes, I thought that was just going to be like a little joke question, but yeah, it turned out it goes into he says, "I don't remember anything about before coming to Arkham, and I just had green hair."
Cool.
Yeah.
So
I've got high hopes for John going forward.
So let's talk about the end.
Prepared for my heart to be broken.
Got to talk about the end of this episode.
Yeah.
Harley is now very sure that there's a mole in the midst, and it's either you or Catwoman. That's who she's narrowed it down between. Even though they seem to have killed a lot of other people trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I gotta say, I'm very surprised they haven't just realized it was Bruce on day one, considering he has an earpiece and is always constantly talking to someone through the earpiece.
Yeah. Yeah, he's always saying what Harley is doing under his breath. So
Harley is going here. I mean,
yeah,
sorry.
I mean, it's probably the billionaire, guys.
Yeah, it's probably like the billionaire who just showed up.
Who does not need to be here. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems it's a little silly that they don't just immediately go, like, obviously you can't just have them immediately figure it out for the story, but I feel like the logic is not quite there. Not in a way that, like, breaks the story for me, but I do think it's very silly.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel the same way. But, like, she also just doesn't trust Catwoman and never has.
Yeah.
So,
right.
I buy it to a degree.
Yeah.
She has John Doe interrogate you. And John's like, pin it on Catwoman. It'll be easy. It's even almost a little true. For me, John Doe is the one who stole the laptop. It was for me, but like he was the one that did it. So he's trying to avoid
looking bad
for Harley.
Yeah.
So he's saying, "Oh, you gotta just blame it on Catwoman. You have to, because for me,
for me,
don't tell her it was me. That would be terrible. Tell her it was Catwoman.
Your pal John."
So Harley comes back in the room, and you have the choice to either do that, blame it on Catwoman, or say it was you. And yeah, we kissed earlier this episode.
I'm not gonna blame it on Catwoman.
We're not gonna blame it on Catwoman. We had that one episode last season that was intimate, so we can't not do that. Or I had it. Did you not have that? Was that the other one that we had?
What was it?
There was an episode in the first season of Batman. I think episode like 2 or 3, where Bruce stays the night after sleeping with Catwoman. But it might be that it just looks like he did, or he actually did.
Uh-huh.
Did you not actually do it? You were trying. I
Uh
think you didn't do it. I think that was the other one in our podcast history because you were still
that might
trying
have
to
been
be
it.
friends with Harvey.
Yeah, that sounds right. I didn't want to do my boy Harvey like that, but now I don't really care. He became a two-head.
Yeah. he became a duoclops.
Yeah. He has two
A
eyes.
biclops, yeah.
Oh, what a freak. But now I'm just like, I'm gonna kiss Selena.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, obviously I'm not gonna blame it on her.
So I blame it on myself, and I think they're gonna freeze me to death.
Yeah, that same thing happened to me, but during the interrogation, since he did not do anything wrong, he just wants me to blame it on Catwoman to save myself. He's like, Bruce, you're my best friend, and I'm really trying to help you out here.
Yeah.
Just blame it on Catwoman. I don't want to see you kill best friend in the world.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I feel really bad for John.
He's put in a bad situation.
In the choices at the end of the episode that they give us, or not the choices, in the like character statuses. Mine is John is guilt-ridden.
He's also guilt-ridden for me.
Okay, let's compare those right now. Gordon is remorseful. Okay.
Also remorseful for me.
Tiffany is honored.
Honored for me as well.
Harley feels deceived.
Yes. We're going to line up for a lot of these, I think.
Selena is horrified.
Yes.
Because she's seeing you turn into a popsicle.
Yeah.
Amanda Waller is furious.
We got all the same ones.
So I put a bunch of question marks next to that last one. Amanda Waller is furious.
Well, so it specifically says you did something that will make her furious. Not that she's furious right now because she has no reason to be, but it says because you gave up your identity. You said you outed yourself as the mole.
Well, sort of. I said I took the laptop, which is not even true.
Right.
What she's upset that we'll just no longer have this in that we have.
Yeah.
And
which I get. I get she'd be furious about that.
If I was trying to be a strategy guy about this, I would say, well, look, now I'm out. Now they don't like me. But we do have an insider still, Selena. And you should work with her. And you should offer her a clean slate if she can work with us. That's what I would do.
Right.
That's the game I would play.
Well, I wonder if they're gonna care. It's Selena does feel pretty bad that you're being a frozen popsicle. I wonder if she will even want to stick around to be part of their little gang as an insider.
Well, I mean, let's not talk about it like we're gonna die here.
Right.
We've got 2 more episodes.
The next episode starts out and you die right away.
That would be amazing. You die in episode 8 of 10, and then you play as Selena for the other 2.
Oh, I was gonna say you play as John. Selena would be good too. I was gonna say John becomes the Batman, but Selena
John's
would also
too much
be
of a wild card, literally. I think that Selena. I think you got to play as Selena.
That'd be neat, though. That'd be cool.
That'd be really cool. That's like that first episode of Game of Thrones where it ends with you with your character dying, but like way harder because you've been around for 8 episodes now.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it not sitting well with people because I can see people who are like, well, I played this to play as Bruce / Batman, and now I just don't get he's just written out. That sucks.
80% of the game is Batman, though, is pretty good. That I think you still get that.
Well, it would be 60% because it's episode 3.
Well, it's episode 8 of the Telltale Batman.
Oh, you're counting.
Series.
Okay.
Yeah, like you had the whole
right.
last season that was just Batman. That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to kill Batman.
Come on.
Come on.
Cowards.
He does a lot of like dangerous stuff. He can die.
Yeah.
Dustin.
Yes.
Segments.
Let's jump into them.
Golden moment is John at the cafe. I love that conversation. It was it was wild. It was insane. Great moment.
Yeah, it's also my pick. It is wild, it is crazy, but it's also a very sincere heart-to-heart between friends.
Yeah, I'm getting to the point where like I'm supposed to be however Bruce Wayne feels about things, right? Because I'm the character controlling him and making his choices. but I do still think that there's this inner mind in Bruce Wayne that feels some way about John that, like, I, the player, can't or don't. And I'm trying to figure out, like, wait, Bruce, are you actually friends? I kind of don't know.
I kind of get the impression that Bruce knows that this is a dangerous man. This man could just be set off by anything.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't, like, dislike him. He is, like, trying to be friendly with him, but he's, you know, not trying to keep his distance, but he is trying to play it safe as well. I like to think they're friends.
I have a note here from the cafe scene. Why do Bruce Wayne and Batman and Harley Quinn keep saying that John has potential? Where is this from? What is the potential he has? Why do they say this?
He has the potential to be a Joker.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I know what that means because I know the character Joker. I'm wondering what Bruce and Harley see in this guy, other than, like, he's nice. I want to hang out with him,
right?
But like, what is the potential you see? Harley talks about it like, oh, he's this criminal mastermind, but he's not. And Bruce talks about it like, oh, he could be a real force for good because I think there's good in him, but there's not. So, like, I don't, on both sides, it's funny that they keep saying it. I don't really mind it. This is not a real complaint, but it's weird to me that they actually feel that this guy, like, oh, well, once he hits his stride, this is going to be a powerful person.
Yeah, maybe they're both talking about, like, I feel like you could take it as Harley sees potential in him, but more like potential to be a strong helper. You know what I mean? Like, she would just have someone there for her, someone she can count on who's, like, a strong, talented guy, even if she doesn't, like, really care about him. I still get the feeling she doesn't, like, really care about John that much.
Yeah, not much.
But he would be a powerful ally to have. Like, she would still call the shots, but kind of like a Bane who won't talk back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and maybe Bruce sees it as, like, he has potential to do good, or he can just be, like, a really bad... He has potential to go either way, and I am here to make sure that potential goes to the right side.
Weekly guy. I say Selena Kyle.
Mitchell, why are we lining up on everything this episode? There's no surprises.
There's no surprises.
You think we're gonna surprise our audience here today?
Well,
I also gave it to
this
Selena.
Is what in between our episodes do. They kind of just do the story, you know?
Yeah, and the good parts of the episode are gonna just be the good parts.
Mm-hmm. Selena Kyle is coming to terms with her own feelings about Bruce, or at least seems to be. And there is something very refreshing as an audience member watching this work go on, seeing a character who has been very sunder and gated and jaded, maybe, and all the other aids that you could imagine. She's finally just saying, like, yeah, no, I've had feelings. I thought about you a lot. And that it's a sigh of relief. It's just nice. It's just nice to see. And the way those conversations are handled isn't like they're jumping to saying I love you or anything. They're just saying, like, yeah, this is clearly where we are.
We're into each other. We'll see where it goes from here.
We are adults that are going to stop pretending.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice job. Choice cut.
Yeah.
I think we might line up again.
Oh.
Because it's just the ability to tell Tiffany that you're Batman. For me.
You know what? We did not have the same one.
Ooh, okay.
Oh my goodness. Okay, talk about yours.
Yeah, well, sometimes the choice cuts are like really good choices because they're like hard, or they put me on the edge of my seat, or they try to make me deliberate. Yeah. But in this case, it was just like, here you go. Here's the option. And like, okay, thank God. Thank you. That is good too.
We've had choices like that a few times on the show where it's like a very obvious choice, but it's a very strong choice as well.
Yeah. Yeah. it doesn't need to have like Baldur's Gate 3 level of openness in, oh, you can play any way you want. It just needs to be like, this is a real choice that I'm still making. It doesn't matter that you knew I would pick it. It just matters that I get to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this yours? No, sorry, you said no. What is yours?
Although it is good. So mine kind of ties into what we just talked about with Selena. I just liked the ability to let her into the Batcave and into your life, into this.
Yeah, great. That's a very similar idea, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it is both of them just choosing to let someone in on you being Batman. Mm-hmm. She already knew you were Batman, but like just inviting her to come to the Batcave, being like, this area is off limits to everyone else except you, this person I really care about.
I want to tell Gordon that I'm Two-Face.
How will he react to that one?
I think he'll just say no.
He'll be like, no, you have one.
No, that guy had two faces.
Well, for
Except
you.
for me, he really didn't.
Yeah.
They all still call him Two-Face, but it's just more of a metaphor. Okay, that's been this episode. Thank you for joining me, Dustin, and thank you for joining us at home as we've talked about this episode. Join us next week where we'll talk about Batman the Enemy Within episode 4. We're really excited to talk about it. It's going to be a big thing, going to be a cool thing. Make sure to subscribe where you can in order to get a notification when we come out with that episode. And you'll be
while you still
first in line. First in line, I say.
Oh, the perks keep coming.
They keep coming. And until next time, have a great summer.
Have a great summer, you guys. I really mean that for real.